Welcome to another DORKLAIR Collecting live stream. Larry is coming. He's having some technical difficulties. He just messaged me back, and he's saying Facebook he's saying his browser's not letting him open Facebook or something like that right now, so he can't see it. But he'll be on in a minute. I'll send him another link, and we'll get Larry on here. And Curtis is with us again. This is 2 times in a row, right? You were with us 2 weeks ago, I think.
Anytime you need me, I'm here. I'm not hard to book.
And I mean, this is perfect because Larry's got a custom that he wants to try out, and he hasn't done really much of maybe any painting yet. So we have a very experienced customizer here to help us with this project that we'll try to talk through it and get the audience to help us out with that as well. But I'm going to Curtis, why don't you kick us off with some recent pickups?
Sure.
And I'll try to get Larry set up here.
So this isn't necessarily a recent pickup, but I just recently opened it. It's the retailer version of the Headless Horseman.
So you waited till
I got it last year in November, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna open it in November, so I waited till October this year to open it, and man, it's fantastic. I really didn't know much about the Headless Horseman before I started playing World of Warcraft, because they've got like a yearly thing where that happens. So, in that game, it's more of the kind of spectral green kind of, flames and hooves and stuff. So this really appealed to me a lot more than the original. So this will be the one that I kind of have on display. So I really love this thing. So
nice. I haven't opened mine either. I kind of did the same thing. I was like, I don't really have any rush to open it. The one thing would have been to do a review, but I just never really had the time or the motivation to do that. So I'm gonna crack mine open soon too.
I picked this up from Big Bad Toy Store. These Cops and Crooks little figures. They don't have any articulation or anything. They're just like little, almost like muscle figures or something. But they're pretty cool. They weren't too expensive. I can't remember how much, but it's got 3 of the villains and a couple of the cops on here, and you got Buttons McBoom Boom, which has always been my favorite because he's opens up and he's got the gun in his chest. So plus, I mean, just a cool ass name. I mean, Buttons McBoom Boom.
It covers it. Yeah, it pretty much it's like a perfect name for somebody who unbuttons.
Yeah, so that
goes boom boom.
That was a nice little set and cool packaging with it. So got that, and then I had my Big Bad Toy Store pile of loot was expiring, and so I had to ship the stuff, and so I was just looking for a couple other things to throw in the cart, and one of them that I threw in was this Naughty or Nice Santa.
I need that one. I gotta get that.
Yeah, and the base here with the ice. This is from Kilbo Baggins. He's a customizer in the Legion's community. So he sold me this ice thing. He's got a bunch of ones with flames and stuff like that, but it looked really good with this. So.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love that.
And this is the alternate head. He's got a regular flesh tone head, and then he's got this one that's kind of like a translucent blue face.
Okay, like a frost.
I just wanted to check out kind of how good they are and stuff. And it's pretty impressive. I mean, I wouldn't say it's quite as good as Mythic Legions. But it's
in the same realm, don't you think? It's kind of in that it's got that kind of plastic, it's got that kind of heaviness, and it's got that feel. Not quite as good sculpting and paint, but it kind of has that feel. I always have this one just on my desk over here. I love this guy, the pirate.
And I think Chris from 4 Horsemen actually worked on that line as well with them. So. He always does a good job with quality control and stuff with production. So
now, did that one, was that wave 2 or wave 1? Did that one come in basically a Marvel Legends box, or do they have a different box now? Because
Actually, Darla opened it, so I don't know what kind of box it came in. Because she
the first wave,
and she's like, "That's mine. I gotta open it." I was like, "Okay, have at it."
the first wave of those, they were literally, like not the current Marvel Legends box, but the Marvel Legends box that they had for like 10 years, like that,
Right.
like kind of that shape. They were in that exact shape box. It was like the exact same size as a Marvel Legends box, weirdly. Anyway. Is that
So that's
it for you
everything.
for pickups?
Yeah, that's everything I got.
All right. Larry, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. Sorry about the late login. Apparently now, for the longest time, Safari will not support StreamYard, which I know, but I always log on to Facebook, get the link from you. Now it's not supporting Messenger. So I had to come over to Google Chrome, log into Facebook, and I don't know any of those passwords. I had to look the password up, and it was a whole thing. So I picked up a couple of things. I had to miss last week because of work, or 2 weeks ago, but I got quite a few things, but kind of the highlights. I picked up a lot of classified over the last couple of weeks. I got the Steel Core versus Twilight Guard 2-pack, the retro carded Stalker. I'm getting all the retro carded stuff because I want the things that are as close to the vintage line as we can get, and those retro cards are really doing the job. The 60th anniversary Marine Sniper and Halo Jumper came, and Bill, I think I sent you pictures of those. I really like those a lot. All of the 60th anniversary stuff, we've gotten all 4 branches now, and I think they said 2 more are coming out next year. So I'm gonna have quite a few of those once everything's said and done, and they come with such a pack out of accessories. I mean, you can get, at least 2 or 3, sometimes 4 unique displays of figures from each one of those. So eventually I'm thinking I'd like to double up on at least 1 or 2 of them. The Halo it's in essence, it's a repaint of Airborne with some additional things, but it's really nice. The Sniper I liked a whole lot more than I thought I would. So that's been a nice line. And then the classified Retro Cobra Commander. Actually, I have that one here. That one showed up. So
nice.
I've got one to open, one to keep closed. So I'm going to have a closed this one. I've still got the one that came with the his tank that's sealed. And so I'm keeping all of my Cobra Commanders, a sealed one of each one. And then I've got a Was Once a Man that was sealed. Chris picked up one for me. And then when it went on sale on Pulse the day of, I bought one. So anyone out there that didn't get theirs, I'm not one of the a-holes that ordered 5 of them. I got 1.
Larry, we have a question from Nate.
Yeah.
What happened to Larry's arms? I think this is the first time we can't see them.
It's cold in here, man. I've got my normal top on, but I got up here and the thermostat is set to where we like to sleep. Like I like to be able to hang meat when I sleep, right? Yeah. But I just ate. I don't know if you guys know. Have you guys ever heard of the Ninja Creamy? It's basically
you were telling us about it
a
couple weeks ago, I think.
This thing's awesome. So you can make it as decadent or as healthy as you want to, and like our treat for the end of the night, we basically make a protein ice cream. And you just take like 16 ounces we use unsweetened almond milk, a couple scoops of protein, and then if you want to put any, like I'll put a quarter packet of sugar-free Jell-O pudding in there to thicken it up. That's like an extra 5 grams of carbohydrate. And I'll end up making, you let it freeze overnight, and then you put it in this creamy, and it makes ice cream. It makes legit ice cream. Yeah. And so on the nights, that's usually my last meal of the night. And if it's like a protein fat meal, I'll mix some peanut butter and something like that. So I ate one of those right before I came up. And so I was cold anyway. And I get up here and it's pre-bed cold. And I'm just like, okay, I'm putting my top on to start here. What else? There were a couple other really cool things that I got. So back in the day when Transformers did Generation 2, they did the line, and then they did some things that were not released, things that were not released in the US. And they had advertised a G2 Stunticon set made up in all those crazy colors, and it never got released. They did one figure, they did a breakdown, and it was released. That was the white Lamborghini in the original line. And it was released as an exclusive at the first BotCon. So now they have 3 of them. A couple of years ago for the Velocitron set at Walmart, they did the black remake of Drag Strip. And then they did the recently, like 6 months after that, they did the Dead End. And then Breakdown, G2 Breakdown just went up on Hasbro Pulse for pre-order. So I got the two that they've made. And the other toy thing I got, this actually just arrived today. This is the Legacy Soundwave. Now, there was a Soundwave that came out before, but it did not turn into the tape deck because the tape deck came out. It was a Walmart exclusive, just like the Bumblebee mold was.
Yep.
So I guess they had to wait till the rights expired. So they finally put that out. But the coolest thing that I got this week, there was a Kickstarter about 2 years ago, and it was done by 3D Joe's, and it was this boxed album. You've seen the really nice Masters of the Universe stuff that Pixel Dan and Val Staples have done with the kind of the retrospective. So they did that for the original G.I. Joe line. And it has concept drawings, Ron Rudat interviews. I mean, all this stuff from the 82 line all the way up to when the original A Real American Hero line ended in 94. It's this thick. It's a hardback. I mean, the thing weighs 30 pounds. It's amazing. It's oversized. And then a few weeks ago, they announced, or a couple months ago, they announced they were going to have a Digipack for Kickstarter subscribers. And it's a 4-disc pack. And it's basically a documentary. You remember the extended stuff that came with Lord of the Rings, the behind the scenes stuff when they did this?
Yeah.
It's like basically that for how they made this Kickstarter. And it's like 10 or 15 hours of stuff. And it was free. I mean, I had to pay like $6 to ship it. So I am so excited about watching this.
That's cool.
It's available to folks that didn't pay for the Kickstarter, but I think it's $20 or $30. But it's so cool. And just like everything, they did it like, I don't know if you guys remember, there was the
carrying case, right?
Exactly. They went on your belt like then so they did that, and then you open it up and you've got your 3 figures on each side, and then the discs themselves. Yeah. But they did such an incredible job with this whole project. I can't wait to start watching that on the Blu-ray. But yeah, and then but the biggest thing is this week was mine and Steph's 2-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Thank you. We had our 2-year anniversary on October the 1st, and I've encouraged everyone to send her sympathy cards, because God knows she give her spa day or something for putting up with me. But no, it's really been wonderful. So we both took the week off. Initially, we were going to get away. We were going to take a week, go to the beach or something. And we said, you know what? Let's just stay home. Let's just relax, because we took a week off around the contest, but that was so filled with stress. We're like, let's just take a week off and just cool it. So we've been doing things around the house. We've been in the house a little over a year, and we've gotten the garage. We almost have the garage to where we could get her car in there. We're really excited. We've got things straightened up, organized. We just need Salvation Army to come do a big pickup, and then we're going to be good to go. So it's been an awesome week, man. It's really been a nice, relaxing week. Yep.
Sometimes it is really nice to just like take some time off and stay home and get caught up on stuff.
And and I'm not saying this to be hallmarky or schmaltzy or to sound like the good husband, but Bill, you've known me since before I met her. Yeah. So you've been here through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I'm so fortunate to have found her. Just my life has been on a constant upswing since the day that I met her, literally. And, dating her was awesome. Then being engaged was awesome. And being married to her for the last couple of years has just been incredible. I said to someone on one of the collecting forums, he put up a post about, what are you guys doing about your boxes? Because finally he's getting rid of like his pull or the big Hasbro, like the Hiss box and all this kind of stuff. And I said, mine's kind of getting out of hand, because it was like, I'm going to save my high-end stuff in case I ever want to sell it or repackage it. But now that means masterpieces, it means Mafex, it means Mezco, it means figure arts. Yeah, it means figure arts, it meant all this stuff. And I said, there have been so many times I've wanted to just do a purge, but it's my wife that says, no, honey, wait, we've got room, we're fine. You don't need to throw this stuff out. You might want it. You might, So how many collectors can say, my wife is keeping me from throwing shit away? That's just something that doesn't happen. But anyway, no, I could go on and on, but I'm very blessed and very lucky and very happy. So I'm going to shut up and let you guys talk now.
That's awesome.
All right, let me do mine, and then we'll get to the chat.
All right.
I think, Curtis, did I share this last time? I got the CJ.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got the CJ stuff, and funny enough, it's been 2 weeks, and I still haven't done the Goblin yet. It's just I've been so busy with work and stuff. But other things that I got, I did a review of this figure, which is awesome. This is the Valaverse Praetorian. This is the one that they did for, I think, Joe Fest.
Yeah.
Or some convention. And it's
conventions.
it's essentially a recoloring of the standard one that should be coming out very, very soon. And when I saw that, I had to grab it. It's really good. This is an awesome figure. And
I had a question on that, Bill. The like shield thing that goes into his arm, is that like the same size as the Cosmic Legions as far as like the port?
I think it's small. Let me just double check here. I think it's smaller. Hang on.
Because I thought that would be kind of cool if that would fit into the arm. I mean, maybe it might need some blue tack or glue or something, but
yeah, the peg is smaller, so a little blue tack, which I always keep a little piece right there. Hang on. A little blue tack. And
oh yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that yeah, I love this figure. It's really good, and it's pretty much why I got it. I ended up selling all of my Valaverse stuff like about a year ago when I was like, I think I'm like, I was like doing purges, and I was like, I don't think I really want like modern, like one thing to get rid of is like the modern army stuff, and so I got rid of all that.
You didn't get rid of your Buzz Trooper or whatever that thing was called, the yellow and black dude, did you?
I did, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got rid
I figured that would stay on your Buzz off shelf to leave.
You know what though? The thing with that was it was too different of a color for Buzz Off. It never went with my Buzz Offs. It just was such a different kind of yellow that I just never had it up there. So I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, so that, and then it's funny because then I started collecting the Joes like a little while after that. Once they started really hitting hard with the nostalgia stuff. But anyway, of course, that last episode was the night before this, right? The night before the teaser.
Man, you kept that under wraps pretty good. Nobody even asked you about it, and it was about that time too. So
it's funny because usually people are right on it, and they were just not. Nobody really brought it up during the stream. But usually people are hounding me about this stuff the night before, like if it's like kind of close on it. But yeah, this creature is amazing, and it sparked a book club. I started a book club in the DORKLAIR Facebook group, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So there was that, and then the one I most recently opened. I think I opened.
I just got to say, your review on that was awesome. By the way, you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, those are always my favorite. And then my most recent pickup was the vintage collection Zeb.
Yeah.
And this figure is an absolute home run. This figure is like it's so nicely articulated. It feels really nice. It just feels like a super nice quality figure. It is such a good one, and I'm really happy that we're finally getting.
It took them long enough.
Yeah, and like they're not all quite exactly like matching the right era and stuff, but you can finally put together a Rebels team.
Well, when I first met you was right around the time that they were putting out that first Rebels round, because I was collecting Black Series hard and heavy.
Yeah.
And that was right about the time that the Luke and Leia debacle happened and drove me over to Figuarts, and that's how I found your channel.
And back then, the only 3 3/4 Rebels were the 5 POA stuff, which were pretty good. Those weren't too bad. But it's always nice to have the vintage collection.
Now he's bigger than 3 3/4, right? Because he's
So do I have another figure in front of me? I don't have one like immediately. Oh wait, I have Mando. Oh no, I don't. I haven't opened him up yet.
Oh, was that 375 scale? Okay, I was looking at that wrong. I thought that was Black Series scale. My bad.
Yeah. So he's definitely bigger. So he feels pretty big and chunky in terms of 3 3/4 figures.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
cool.
So let's get into the chat. I want to start with some of the super chats. So we do have Joe with the classic 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Joe. And then we also have Blake with the $5 super chat. Larry, from one muscle brother to another, congrats to you in yours in all your hard
Thank
work
you.
and discipline.
Appreciate that.
And what up, Bill and Curtis?
So Blake,
Thank you, Blake, for the $5 super chat. And Hedgehog in the house. Good to see Curtis finally on one of these shows. Finally.
yeah.
Curtis, where have you been all our lives?
I don't know, man. I've been under the radar.
Okay, so then let's jump into the chat and say hi to everybody. J Mac, we saw Blake, Jeff Evans, Slink, Josh Brown, Jurassic Jesse, OK Figures, Kevin McCoy, Heinrich Hoffman, Motu Guru, KJ Smith, David Williams, Kirby, Jeremy Govier, Dub3, Jordan the Handsome Warlock, Ben G, Sath, the Amateur Hour, Tanya McCoy is in the house. I think we said Rob Zamora, right? Rabbit Dens Collectibles, Brick Something, JD Gibson, Cloud Foxwell, Michael Carter. Trevor is in the house. What is up? We got the lounge shirt rocking tonight. And we said Joe is here. What's up, Joe? Nate Strong, Fortress Madamus, Wesley, Caleb. Who else we got? I think that might be everybody. Odin, Mirko, and Derek, Steph Ork, Jeff Evans, and somebody was talking about the port strike being suspended. I don't think it's technically over, but it's suspended, and they're still working on negotiations, but they have made movement in those negotiations, and the port strike is currently not in effect.
That's good.
Which has been interesting because we're in a negotiation at my work, and we're work to rule starting tomorrow, and so like it's just kind of interesting thinking about like unions and stuff, like kind of all that stuff. I missed somebody here. Who was it? J-Mac, I think, maybe. And that might be everybody. Wow, it's bumping in here with the chat.
Yeah, a lot of folks. They want to
Rick
see Larry
Jones.
customize.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely be worth recording. We'll have to censor it for YouTube because I'm sure there'll be a little more profanity than one might prefer.
And we got two more. We got Tom, and then we have Endless Fables. And yeah, so Larry has a custom in mind. You want to just like explain what you want to do?
Yeah. So my background, I went to UNC Chapel Hill. I grew up a big Tar Heel fan, so that's where part of this comes from. And I didn't just grow up a Tar Heel fan. If I would have gone to college somewhere else, I would have had to slept on the porch when I went home to visit. And then Optimus Prime has always been my favorite fictional character. So my internet handle for a lot of different things, and then also on Instagram, is Tar Heel Prime. So when I was on the old Bot Talk boards, we had a guy on there. His name was Airhammer, and he used to do digibashes. Like he could do the best digibashes of whether it was just a picture or if he took a picture of a 3D. I mean, he was amazing. And he did a Tar Heel Prime for me one time. Now, I've since lost the file. But basically he took I think it was a Don Figueroa piece of art, and did the top of him in the Carolina blue and used whites and navies and all the stuff that UNC uses in their color schemes. And I was telling Bill, I said, I want to do a custom of that. So I think what I'm going to do, I think what would be the easiest thing to do is get one of the Flame Toys model kits, because those are all on sprues. So I don't have to take anything apart. Whatever I paint, I can just paint right there. I don't have to worry about it being super neat or whatever. Get it off the sprue, file it down, touch up whatever I need to do. So I was talking to Bill, and I said, well, I know what the PMS number is for the that powder, that light powder Carolina blue, and the navy blue they use. White is white, silver. And, just kind of talking through what would be the best way, because I've never customized anything. if it's the model kits, then the plastic is that color. So there's no paint to try to grind off or grind down. But Bill, we were talking through different things like starting with a primer. What color primer you use? A light color primer for these lighter colors. So that's kind of where I am. I'm just in the planning stages. So I've kind of putting together my recipe. I'm going to use, I think what I'm going to use is the Flame Toys model kit. I'm either going to use the one from IDW, or I'm going to use the one that's basically the Pat Lee version. I might do both. If I do the one and I do an okay job on it, and then if I get good enough to where I feel, if I do a couple of these and I feel like I've not totally botched them, then I think what I'm going to do is drop $60, buy a YOLO park, and do a really nice one. But I need to practice, on one of these $20 or $30 ones first. So anyone that's customized, anyone that plays with this stuff, that's what I'm looking for input on. What were your experiences? The first time you've customized, what should I look out for? What should I think about? Because like I said, the length and breadth of my customizing was taking a Phillips head screwdriver to my old G.I. Joe figures, popping the screw out of the back and mixing and matching, heads and legs and torsos. So that's it. That's all I've ever done.
So I think my one question for the audience would be, who has painted Gundam and like other plastic model kits? Like I've done a bunch of plastic model kits, but I have never like primed and like really like done a full paint job on any of them. I've weathered them and I've done the decals and I've added some detail paint, but like I've never actually like fully painted. So my assumption here is that you could take, and I always use the Citadel spray primers. You could probably take the Wraithbone one. I think I mentioned that too, right, Larry?
Yep, I'll put that
prime in that, and then look for the right color to brush paint onto it. Because I don't think you're gonna find, there's mostly like primer colors are like very primary colors. You could get like a very bright red or a very bright blue or a very, a black or like whatever colors. So Odin says he's primed and painted Warhammer minis, but I'm talking about the plastic that's on these model kits. Rob, do they take spray primers well, is my question, I guess. Because that's like the first question to answer is like, how well do they take?
Yeah.
So as long as you're using something that's acrylic and not enamel, you should be okay. Especially with the primers. So here's the thing, that a lot of customizers, we kind of joke about this, but white is like the worst thing to paint because it is just very hard to get coverage on, especially with a brush. So if you've got a lot of parts on it that are going to be white, I would actually probably recommend priming it in white first. So there is a Citadel, I think it's like Corax white. That would probably be the best bet because that's going to be the hardest color to get down. Your silver, your blues, that kind of stuff, that's going to be pretty easy to cover.
What did you call it? Course. Say that again.
It's like, hold on, let me take a look. I think it's Corax. Yeah, Corax white. Yeah,
and that should be so if I'm doing white or light blue, or would that even work for the navy blue? Could I use that primer all the way around?
You can use that to prime the whole thing. Okay. But that's going to be your toughest color, so that's what I would start with.
Okay.
And then you can get the other colors and then touch up the other areas. So, but yeah, I would just make sure you use acrylic paints. There's a whole bunch of different ones. I mean, you can use things from Craft Paints like at Walmart. They got Vallejo and Citadel is at a lot of like comic book stores and things like that. So
I think the trickiest part is going to be to find that really like specific blue.
Actually, I looked up the PMS is 542. I actually did find a couple of spray model, I think they're acrylic sprays for that color. Yeah.
Okay.
So in that case, you'll want to separate the white parts out, right? Like get those. So prime everything in white, right?
Well, here's what I'm thinking.
Remove the white pieces and then spray the blue ones, right?
So here's what I'm thinking. So if you look at Optimus Prime's color scheme, he's red.
Yeah.
either silver or white in the thighs, and then the legs are navy blue. Well, that navy blue is already the right navy blue. I don't have to mess with that. Okay. All of the red stuff's going to be on the same sprue. I prime that sprue, let it dry. I paint it blue, pop it off, touch up what I need to, let everything dry. And then if it's an animated colors, then the thighs are going to be white anyway, right? You're right. And if they're not, if they're gray or silver, well, then they're going to be on the same sprue. All the gray stuff's going to be together on the same sprue. I can go on, prime that, paint that white, let it dry, put it together. That's kind of where my brain is right now.
This is the only.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead, Curtis.
I was just going to say, you can use different primers for different parts if you wanted to. If you wanted to use one primer for all of it, I would use white, but they've got red primers, they got blue primers, you know. So if you prime it close to the color that you want it to finish at, it's going to be a lot easier to get that coverage.
Yeah, and I figured for the obviously white for white and the powder blue. I mean, I'm thinking, you know, priming in white's probably going to make that powder blue a lot easier than not.
Yeah.
So this was the only Flame Toys one. Is this one of the ones you're considering or no?
No, that's hang on, let me see if I can find it.
So this is the only one on Big Bad. I'm not sure where I would see a picture of it. Flame Toys Optimus Prime. So like maybe this one? G1 version?
Yeah, so there's a G1 version. So there's the Pat Lee style. That's on Amazon. There's that one, and then there's the there's the IDW version. Oh,
okay.
Which I have a couple of. I've got that in red and I've got that in clear as well. But yeah, I'm thinking about starting with just that Pat Lee, the Pat Lee version.
Yeah,
because it's let's see. I mean, it's $45, you know, and like I said, it comes on the sprues. So yeah, I'd leave the blue. I'd leave the grays. I'd do the grays and white, and I'd do the red, you know, prime it, and then do the Carolina blue over the top of it.
Right. Yep. And that, you know, if you're going to go by colors like that, it should, you know, you should have the red sprue that you can spray baby blue or whatever that shade of blue is, right? And then like you'll have, they should be set on, you know, typically they're all on separate colored sprues. Once in a while, there'll be a mixed color sprue, but
well, like I said, I have that when I've done it, so I know that they're all on solid color sprues. Okay, I'm going back. I've been talking the whole time. I was going back and looking to see what folks said. Citadel primer's great on everything. It's like sriracha. All right, I'll just use Citadel on my skirt steak the next time I run out of sriracha. Prime with white. Yep. White Scar. Okay, I'll look at that as well. Citadel White Scar.
Breck's liking the conversation here.
Well, this is so interesting to me. I've wanted to get more hands-on with stuff, but I've always been afraid to screw something up. And I was watching one of Robo's bin dives. You know how he'll go into his bins and go through his parts and stuff. And one of the things he said the other day, he talked about, oh, this was an early custom, and you can see, and you know, the difference between this and my newer customs. And he said something. He said the only way to get good at it is just to do it. You know, and it's like anything else. You're going to screw it up. You know, the first time I ever tried to do a bench press, I had 75 pounds on the bar and I got pinned. I also fell in love. So, you know, and that's why I'm thinking I'll do something that's moderately priced that way. If it is an utter screw up, it's just I saw saying something about failure. Something about fail is something in service of learning or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, someone else said definitely White Scar, painting white over Mr. Hobby work is. So Mr. Hobby, is that a brand name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. They have a really nice clear coat It's called Mr. Super Clear, I believe.
Now, is that something I should look at doing over the top to seal the colors after I've done the custom colors?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a gloss and a matte. It just depends on what kind of look you're trying for. I pulled a picture there. If you want to, can you share that?
Pull that
there?
up.
This is one that Tanya did. She was doing one with a bunch of the schools, and so she did this in those colors, and she was kind of talking about some of the paints that she used.
That's my freaking school's mascot right there. I could just steal
she
that
did
from
like
you.
the mascots for that whole all 4 of those schools down there. So
that's killer.
There's your next project.
Yeah,
I love that. Now you're putting stuff in my head. So will you ask her what color, what blue that is, out of curiosity?
She put it here
She's in the chat.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. What is
light phthalo blue? Phthalo blue
from Golden. I can leave that up for just a second. So flat, golden, so flat. Tanya, that's awesome. I love that so much.
And then
she said that blue is probably a brush paint.
Yeah, she said she finished with a Craft Smart Blue Ice Pearl Metallic Acrylic paint for the metal look. That was a little bit earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just kind of playing around. I'll tell you what, Larry, like as far as like me getting into customizing, I started with just some like old vintage Motu figs. Like I got some from like a flea market for like $5, and I just touched up some of the armor and the hair and stuff like that. Get something cheap to mess around with. You find some McFarlane on clearance or something. Just grab something.
Dude, I've got so much stuff in bins in my closet. I probably don't need to buy anything. I'm sure I can find something in there to play with.
Yeah, just grab something and start messing around with it.
Especially when it comes to figuring out thinning your paints and adding, like doing like thin coats, so that you do a coat, let it dry, do another coat, let it dry, until you get that, maybe 2 coats or 3 even sometimes, where you get that nice, you can't see any brush strokes. It's just nice, clean, solid coat. That takes some getting used to, thinning your paints and applying it.
I think one of the early mistakes that a lot of people make is they try to apply the paint so thick that it covers it all in one coat, and it just makes it kind of chunky and nasty. So you really want to, like Bill said, thin it down and do multiple thin layers. So,
and you get that first layer on and you're like, this looks like shit. What the hell?
Right.
But like you get one more layer on there and you start to see, okay, I know, I can see what's going on here. And then that, it's just, again, it's a learning process. Watch videos. I've been doing a little more customizing lately, and I do like to watch a lot of like miniature painters doing stuff. They use a lot of the same kind of techniques that you'd want to use on figures. So
what was the name of the customer? Is there a specific customer?
No, I'll just look up like, Warhammer miniature painters or things like, especially for armor, like things like that.
Rob asks what I'm working on. I'm going to take an Optimus Prime and put it into UNC Tar Heel colors, the light blue and the white so I'm going to put kind of the Carolina blue where the red is. The gray will be white, and then that blue I may actually have to darken that just a little bit. So, but I'm gonna
which you can probably do with you guys some washes even.
Right, that's what I was going to say. That's the thing. I've been watching a few of these guys online, and I'll watch them do their first couple of layers, and I'll think to myself, oh my Lord, that looks like crap. And then you see them get another layer and then another layer, and you see it build up, and it's like, okay. So it really kind of made me realize, okay, this is not something where you can get in a hurry or be impatient with it. You really have to just take your time and be patient with it.
Yeah, Larry, this is another reason to go to Legion's Con right here. Another reason. The customizers, you can pick everybody's brains. You can go to the tutorials and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's so. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, that being said, like we also meet every Sunday. We've got like a messenger group through Facebook. And we do like a video call every Sunday at 1 p.m. and a bunch of people are just working on different projects, and we kind of share techniques and talk about different paints and tools and stuff like that. So, you know, that's something. If you ever want an invite to that, just let me know. I'll add you to this group. But, you know, just talking to other people, there's a wealth of knowledge out there. And so whether it's, you know, YouTube videos or talking to people or joining, you know,
join the Wolf King
like
group.
that.
Yeah. Wolf King, Wolf King Customs. What is it
Wolf
called?
Den on
the Wolf Den.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wolf Den. Yeah, that's a good one because it's like the Cabal is great, but like it's so all encompassing that like it's, you know, it can be a little hard just scrolling to look for inspiration for customs. So like when you're in the Wolf King and the Wolf Den, it's like it's like all customizing stuff mostly.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me how much stuff is out there. Like you would never really even begin to guess that there's so much stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Till you get into the rabbit hole.
Sweet. Yeah. The one other thing I wanted to mention was David Williams. I might not be able to find the comment now, but oh yeah, here it is. You consider removing sanding parts from the sprue if they're attached on the sculpt. So some pieces, and I've never done a flame toy, so I don't know if they even do this, but I know a lot of Bandai stuff they do they do undercut. So like it's attached to the sprue on a surface that is not something that will be seen.
Okay.
So if it's a surface that will be seen, like sanding and stuff like that, like you may want to pop that piece off first, because if you want to sand it, the other possibility is once you cut it off, you could touch it up with a brush or something like that. But yeah, like that's something to consider, is like the sprue attach points
will it be hidden when everything's put together?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you'll want to make sure you've got a X-Acto knife with a fresh blade nearby for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things I discovered when I first, because I put together 6 or 7 of those kits. I've got most of those Transformers kits. I still have a Soundwave and a Bumblebee I need to put together. I think the only ones I don't have, I never could find Skywarp, that they're supposed to be reproducing at some point. I didn't buy Hound yet, and Megatron's on pre-order. They've got an actual G1 Megatron. I've got a couple other Megatrons that I did, but I love putting those things together because it's, you know, my wife actually last year got me this lamp with a magnifying glass on it. Yeah, because she would come in here and just see me hunkered over trying to look at this stuff. And she was just like, yeah, I've got to help him out. So that thing's been not just for when I put the model kits together, but sometimes when I'm transforming something for the first time, these parts are so small. I'll be watching a video to put something together, and I'm like, okay, I can't see what I'm doing. Put it under the thing. I figured I would get plenty of use out of that. I'm getting warm now. I figured I'd get plenty of use out of that, but I'm getting way more use out of it than I ever imagined.
There you go, Nate.
Our viewer count up.
Yeah.
It got warm, man. It got warm. I got started talking about my wife, and the temperature goes up.
Right. And JMac, this is a great, like, I feel you, man. Like, it's so peaceful and chill just painting. And like one of my favorite things is very odd specific thing, but like my favorite thing is to throw on some old Star Trek Voyager episodes. And for some reason, it's always specifically Voyager. I think it's because I was watching a lot of that during the pandemic when I really first started customizing. But that's like my favorite, is just to have something I can kind of like mindlessly kind of have on in the background, something that's almost like old and comforting sound, and then just be sitting there painting without social media or without like any other stuff going on, just kind of really just chilling and like embracing that moment.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, I mean, there's oftentimes I'll have like a project in mind that I'm doing, but really those Legion builders that they put out, just like painting some accent lines or some rivets or whatever, like that is just so, it's very easy, but it's also calming and like relieves all the stress. And yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. My brother's wife, she's really into these, when I say adult, I don't mean a brown chicken wow wow adult. I just mean like grown up, like adult coloring books. And she talks about how much it just helps her relax and unwind. And I imagine it's probably kind of the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, this gives me a great starting place. I really appreciate the input. Is there any type of, now if I do go the brushing route, is there a particular kind of brush I should be using? Because you're talking about doing multiple layers. Are there brushes that you should be using for a base layer, and then as you get toward the top, a different brush, or if you're doing a wash, a different brush? What is that? Anything I could?
There's a lot of good brushes. There's not like one specific.
Or am I overcomplicating it at this point?
I'll send you a couple links to some on Amazon that are super cheap that would work for you. That's like a whole set.
Yeah, this was the set I shared with you, Larry. It just came in the mail.
Yeah,
and it was on sale for $5.
Oh, no
Somebody
kidding.
had posted it in the Cabal, and I was like, I'll try this out because I needed some more brushes. So, yeah, you can find stuff like that.
No, that'd be great.
And then like use sort of the bigger ones for your base coat, and then if you have to do any like specific details, use the smaller ones. Essentially, is kind of what it comes down to.
It's funny because I was telling Steph about it, and you guys know how supportive she is of everything. Well, we're looking at it, and dude, she's just like, oh, well, you can do this, and you can do this, and we started out by looking at the basketball uniforms, and then we realized the football uniforms had a lot more variance, using a lot more of the dark blue, the light blue, and that together. So we started looking at combinations of those, and she was like, oh my gosh, she's like, you could do like 5 different things, and so that's why I'm thinking, and I'll do the first one, and if I don't absolutely destroy it and don't absolutely destroy my sanity, maybe try something a little nicer, and then maybe one day have enough guts to try YOLO Park. But
those YOLO Park ones are nice. If you did one on that, that would be pretty cool.
Well, they're getting ready to release, do another release of the Prime Man Megatron and the anime, because the first stuff they did was all like battle damage type stuff. Now they're going to do it straight from animation, which if I had known they were going to do that, I would have just held off and waited. So maybe what I'll do is buy the animated Optimus Prime, and maybe I'll do Prime in Carolina colors and do Megatron in Duke colors. We'll see,
nice.
See how that goes.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay, I can't wait for that Starscream to come in.
Oh, are you talking about for the YOLO Park? Yeah, I pre-ordered that. Well, there's so many of these things, and then there's some more of this. So I'm collecting the YOLO Park, and then also there's the 3.0, the MDLX, and you were talking about your pile of loot, dude. My pile of loot right now, I have Starscream already came. I have Thundercracker, I have Skywarp, and let's see, what is that? All that's in there? Yeah, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and then Sideswipe is going to drop any day. I've canceled my pre-order on Big Bad. I'm going to veer completely to a different thing here, but I want to say this now. After we had Nerdzoic on here a couple of weeks ago, and I've bought from him intermittently over the time, I would never tell anyone how to spend their money. It's your little red wagon, pull it however you want to. But I just kind of had, I had it put on my heart that, these big boxes, they have all the business they need. And I've always said, well, I can put it on pre-sale now. I can pay later. I can pile of loot it. He's got his nerd stash now. What's the difference in paying for it now and paying for it in 6 months when it comes out? So moving forward, anything that I collect that he carries in his store, I'm buying from him. Number one, I think he's a good person. I like the guy. Number two, I think it's really important that we support the people in our community, the smaller guy and the smaller retail and the mom and pop shop. Because number three, when COVID hit, a lot of them went away. A lot of these folks lost their businesses. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm telling you, this is what I'm going to do. Do what you want to do. But I said all that to say there's a lot of this stuff that I've had on pre-order that I've canceled my pre-orders here that I'm going to get from him. So to my point, the MDLXs are just going crazy too. So like all of these non-transforming lines are incredible. And you've seen, Bill, I sent you the line we're going to talk about, that 1/12 line, and there's even more transformer stuff in that style coming out now. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'll add one more thing top of what you were just saying too. When you pay for it ahead of time, then when it comes in, you don't have to, you're not scrambling. You're not,
exactly
like you get all a bunch of pre-orders that hit at once and you're trying to pay for it at the same time. When I pay for something early, I just consider that a future gift to myself.
Yep.
So then when it comes, it's like free.
Yeah. And I look at it like this, it's going to take, because I've got pre-orders 6 or 8 months down the road. Mm-hmm. So I'll have about 6 or 8 months where I'm paying, I'm basically doubling my not necessarily doubling, but I'm going over my collecting budget. But once I get past that and everything levels out, then I'll be back to where I was.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my
Yeah, we know
soapbox.
Blake is a huge fan of the big ones, the DLX.
Yeah, those things are awesome. I just love them. I love them so much. But yeah, I've got the Thundercracker and Skywarp in there, and there are a lot of them I haven't gotten. Like there's a comics version of Megatron I didn't get. I got the G2 version, but those jets are just so amazing. That Starscream is unreal. So I'm really looking forward to the other two, and I hope they do the Coneheads. I'd love to get Thrust Urgent Ramjet. That'd be great.
And then I wanted to bring up this one. It ends up being like Rob is saying, where you buy a big set of brushes and there's like the 3 brushes that like you just always use, and those ones work for you, which is why a set like this is great, because it's hard to just like, I'm gonna buy those 3 specific brushes. Like, how do you know? So when this is $5, it's like, okay, 3 brushes for $5 is totally fine too.
Yeah, the one I sent you has some like dry brushes in there. It's got some deep brushes. It's got and it's like $16 for the whole set. It's not that bad.
Well, I can relate that to Bill. When I started putting these model kits together, either you or Chris sent me a link for some different kind of model kits that's with files and sprue cutters and X-Acto knives and this and that. And I've got like 10 of everything in there. I've gotten to where I use the same X-Acto knife. I've got 2 different files. I've got one that's a bigger grit, one that's a finer grit, and I've got one specific sprue cutter. So I'm sure it's the same thing. Once I do it enough times, I'll figure out what my preferences are.
And honestly, having a pair of cutters, like the sprue cutters, handy. I haven't used these as much as I've never used these as much as I do since I've started collecting NECA. I don't know if anybody collects NECA toys, but the amount of those little plastic things when you open up a freaking NECA, this is like the best thing to just have laying around.
I keep mine around too, and whenever I open something, I just clip, cut it right out.
Yeah, no need to untwist that stuff when you can just cut it.
But the NECA ones aren't even twist ones. They're like they're like
true.
The ones you get on clothing or whatever. You know, I hate them.
Yeah.
And they have so many of them, so many, like probably like 30 per figure. It's wild.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to some news. And we'll start off with probably the latest news, which was this morning. 4 Horsemen announced that they're going to do a special 4-pack of skeletons. It's a graveyard. It's like a sort of a third new color for the skeletons. These are more of a ashen gray kind of a color. And they're going to do it as a timed pre-order 4-pack starting on October 14th. And then ending on the 31st. So a 2-week window there. 4 Horsemen and retailers will have it, presumably during that window. So
do you think
should be plenty of options.
Do you think there's going to be extra stuff with there, like, you know, hands or different things? Like, cause they really didn't give much detail as far as what's going to be in the 4-pack, but I'm assuming
Jeremy made a comment that was
cool.
like, you guys are going to love the stuff that comes with this or something like that. And so I think it's, you know, I don't think it's going to be like 4 figures each with its like same set of like set of hand. Like, I think it's going to be like a pack of 4 figures. And then you're going to get like 1 extra of some other skull and then some like one of each. It'll be like a mixture of weapons across all 4 is my guess, rather than like 4 of the exact same figures, each with the exact same accessories, especially if they're going to keep it as like a builder price, like maybe like $100 for the set or something like that. Then I think it'll be like, it'll come with really cool things, but it won't come with like 4 of each of all those really cool things.
I would just love some expressive bone hands with it. You know?
Yeah. Hopefully
that would be cool.
Have they shown any of those types of expressive bone hands was there a bone hand set or anything with Necronominus or?
I don't think there was a set, but some of the figures had different hands that came with it.
Yeah. So I imagine, since this is a pre-order, I imagine whatever those hands are, these will probably come with those. A few more. I mean,
maybe even I've seen some people put like the headless horseman pumpkin head on these. Like, maybe if you threw one of that in there or something, that would be kind of cool.
That'd be cool. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you could. Yeah. Could be some real. I mean, they could throw a cloth good piece in there or something.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, it'll be
Even
fun to
just
see.
some of the new belts and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with it and like what's going to come with and yeah. And by the way, where is it? I took the occasion to say we're going to give away one of the regular
Very
1 and
nice.
2s.
Cool.
That giveaway we'll do that in a minute. So let's go on to the other October 14th drop, which is going to be the Heavy Gunner from Ishcon. And then that's going to go up at 11 a.m. on the 14th. What day of the week is the 14th? Is that a Friday? Or what?
I think the
Today's the
14th is a
3rd.
Monday.
Okay.
Monday's the 14th.
Monday the 14th. Okay.
You know what? I was wrong. They did have a skeleton hands and feet pack.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet it comes with like a bunch of that stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Skull colored pumpkin head. That might be interesting. Or bone color.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, Monday. Okay. Yep. So this will be an in stock drop. So like this and the skeleton thing is going to be the same day, but they will be separate orders. Like you can order them together, but they're going to be separate shipping costs and stuff, which is what they do now on the site. So, but yeah, it's the same day. I think they said there's going to be 4 per person for the first 24 hours or something like that. Curtis, do you know?
I don't remember. I just thought it was interesting that they were doing it on a Monday. I've never seen them do a drop on a Monday.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's interesting. Maybe yeah, I don't know why they would need to line it up with the other drop. The other drop makes sense because it's like exactly 2 weeks,
right?
Till
it's probably just the way that it fell. Like looking at everything that they've got on their schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yep, they probably have that targeted for like when the.
Well,
I bet
if
most of the Frankenstein's creatures will be gone.
Yeah, if they're going to try to ship it before Legion's Con, doing it on 10/14 gives them, 3 weeks before Legion's Con to try to get all that stuff out, or majority of it. So
it'd be cool if they did a Skull Candy Day of the Dead head sculpt. Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yep. Trevor wants to know if Curtis is speculating.
The way that they threw that out there, that it's a 4-pack, and they didn't like show like the breakdown pictures like that Trevor did and stuff, tells me I think there's going to be something in there more than just 4 skeletons.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'll be something. I agree.
Oh yeah, Nate mentioned the creature they're stopping that on Friday. They're taking it down, so they're not sold out by then. They're coming off the website.
Yep. It's honestly like we haven't talked about it on this show. I've talked about it on plenty of shows, but not this show. But like $70 when you think about it, like it really is the size, tall wise. It is a brute scale. When you look at the brute scale figures, those are 65 retail.
Right.
So like this thing for $5 more is wildly awesome.
Yeah.
It's such a good price.
For the box art, the book, all the accessories, like 3 different heads. Well, actually jars. 5 different heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and people are still waiting for the shipment. Yeah, I think my label was created. I had a complex order. I ordered an all-in, and then I ordered like 5 Legion builders. So like,
oh jeez,
I'm not expecting mine to come anytime soon. But I already have it, so I didn't really care. If I had wanted it like fast, I probably would have just bought like done like an initial like order of like 1.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I mean, even orders of 1, maybe they're still.
Yeah, but Cloud can just go down the street and mess with Trevor's. So.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
NECA charged $40 just for the table. That's exactly. Like just that table alone is like, a $20 piece at least.
Mm.
Rob had to hold off buying creature. Too many pre-orders went through at the same time. And then Doc Knock. We'll talk about that. Let's get to that.
Oh, Lord,
let's get the giveaway going. Let me pull up the giveaway tool. All right. Start collecting. So let me pull up the banner. So again, giving away just a regular skeleton. But I know, they're sold out, and I know people have been wanting these, so I figure it's still a pretty high demand thing.
That's the type of thing that you can never have. You're never gonna run out of people that want that.
Yeah, it's just such a good fun figure.
Well, Bill was going to sit on it for a while and then sell it for like 4 times the amount. But now that they're
releasing it, yeah,
forget it. I'll just give it away. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm going to do with those other 4 Cobra Commanders that I lied about. I'm kidding.
Okay, so did a creature plus a Farius during the first drop, and it got there Tuesday. Okay, did a separate order of 2 creatures, a second drop, and it's arriving Tuesday. Oh, yeah, cool. All right, so let me present. Let me actually got to share this screen instead. Hold on. Pull this up here. Pull this down. I want to pull up this banner. So the hashtag is going to be Bone Thugs. Hashtag Bone Thugs, everybody.
Nice.
And we'll draw that in a little bit. So let me pull this back up. And I just wanted to mention, for those of you who are not in the DORKLAIR Facebook group, if you're not, here's a new reason to join. We have the book lair. And the first book is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And we are 2 weeks in. Yesterday we had the second round. So we're going to be like not quite halfway through the book, but like halfway through the weeks of it. It'll be 4 weeks. And the conversations have been great. Dylan Strickarts has been like helping me come up with the questions and sort of running it and stuff. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So Darla hasn't been like actively talking in there, but she's been kind of following because she's going, doing the audiobook on it.
Yeah.
And the other day she looked at me, she goes, "You know what? Billy Beige is actually really smart."
I knew that already. But yeah, I've heard a few people say that. Like,
I guess he's surprising some people in your book group.
There's some awesome conversation going on. It's a tricky one because, I'd like to get to a point where we do a book where nobody's read it. Like there are people who have read this book a bunch of times, who have studied it in school, So, and then there's people who are reading it for the first time. So there's this like large distance between like different perspectives, which is great to have, but it's also tricky for people who've read it a bunch and they try not to like spoil it for people on their first time through.
This is the kind of book that I love talking to people about when all they've ever seen is either, the old Universal movies, or maybe they've seen the Dustin Hoffman movie, or the Robert De Niro movie, which is admittedly much closer to the real book. But then they read the actual book and it's just like, what am I looking at?
Yeah. Yep. So it's been great, and we're working on picking the next book because, we're about 2 weeks away from finishing this one, and it's not like I want to do a modern book. I don't want to like just make this into like reading the classics. I want to do I want to like make sure we do a modern one next, and maybe like alternate back and forth. Of course, we'll probably do Christmas Carol at Christmas time. But like,
you're gonna make them all coincide with Figure Obscura stuff.
What's that?
You're gonna make it all coincide with Figure Obscura.
Yeah, I mean, since it came out of
just Figura, about could.
Like, yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things I love about Figura. It gets people reading and learning, and but anyway, like, yeah. So I want to make sure people have time to get the next book, because Frankenstein, you can just go online and find it. You could just find it on Project Gutenberg, and you can find whatever version, 1818, 1831 online. You can find free audiobooks on YouTube. But when it comes to something more recent or modern, you have to go out and get a copy of it. So some people might want to like put in a reservation in their library and like put a hold on it or something. So I definitely want to give people a heads up. And so far, I asked people to make suggestions, and we're doing a recommendations poll right now. And right now, American Gods and the Crystal Shard, which is the first book of the Icewind Dale trilogy with Drist the elf. Like those two are like the front runners. And so it's probably going to come down to like, I'm going to do a vote between those two, I think. Unless somebody throws something out there and it like totally shifts what's been there, but it's been like 24 hours. So, it's probably gonna be between those two for the next book. So if anybody's interested, we're going kind of like, living author, maybe like books in the last 50 years kind of thing with the next one, and most likely going to be fantasy.
Yeah. So, I mean, Larry, I'm just going to throw this at you because, I know the Four Horsemen were working with Bill on these Figure Obscura drops and having him do the review and stuff on the day of. I think it's just a giant conspiracy between them and a teacher to get us all to read. Like yeah.
It's funny because my wife reads a ton. She loves to read. And she said this after we've been together, I guess, a couple of years. She goes, "You're so well read." She goes, "But all I ever see you reading is comic books." I was like, "Sweetheart," I said, when I took my SAT, I said, this was back when they just had the 2 parts of the SAT. I think they have 3 parts now, and a perfect score was a 1600. I was like, I scored like a 780 or whatever, like almost a perfect score on the verbal part. Now my math was like about a 12. But I said, and every bit of that, honest to God, was from comic books and G.I. Joe and Transformers file cards.
There you go.
Nice. This is Tanya's first time. I know it's Stephen Bisciotti's first time. He was messaging me. He's one of those who's like, "Wow, I'm blown away by how different this is from the movies and the pop culture stuff."
And I'll have to look it up, Bill. Someone did, because I read this years ago when they were doing when they did Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I went back and I read the actual books. Boy, imagine my surprise when I read Dracula and realized it was just a bunch of diary entries. But when I went back and read Dracula, Frankenstein. Years later, and this is available digitally now. I'll look it up, see if I can find it and send it to you. Someone did a comic adaptation of the actual, it's of the no Hollywood crap in there, just the real book. And it's a really, really nicely done adaptation.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I've got it. I have it on my other iPad. I'll have to go look it up, but I'll let you guys know what it's called. I think it's like 10 or 12 bucks on Amazon to get on your Kindle reader, but totally worth it. Really, really well done. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So yeah,
you should get everybody reading the first 2 books of the King Killer Chronicles. That way they can all be upset that the 3rd book is not coming out like ever. So
that's
also they have something.
We're all Martin fans, so
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
they have something in common with Gurm fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're at 665 members in the DORKLAIR Facebook group. If anybody wants to be 666, just saying. And thank you.
A dubious distinction.
Yeah.
Thank you to the channel members. Appreciate it. Let me make sure that they're all visible here. I'm just gonna pull the banner down for a second. Yeah, they're all there. Yep. Thank you to the channel members, as always, much appreciated. Thank you, Joe, for always boosting up the member count every week. And then
just real quick, that the turtles thing that you posted in the DORKLAIR group this week, do you have any more information on those, like what the cost is on those or whatever?
Which turtles?
It was like the I think it's Memory Toys is making.
Oh yeah, no, we'll talk. They're gonna come up. That there's been no pricing or anything yet.
Okay,
we could probably look up some Memory Toys figures and see like roughly what they might be. But yeah,
I would say those are almost as good as the Mezcos. They're pretty nice.
They look awesome. Joe's saying the Dark Elf trilogy is a must read. I've read the Dark Elf trilogy. In fact, I read it before I read Icewind Dale, but I put the Icewind Dale book on there as the vote because it came out first. Like it's kind of like the introduction to Drist, even though it happens after the Dark Elf trilogy. But that I like the idea of the book club being a place where we could read like the first book of a series and let people then decide if they want to read a series, you know? I think that's a fun kind of thing. I don't ever really necessarily envision us reading like a whole series, maybe a trilogy, like Dark Elf trilogy. They sell it in one bound book. That's how I read it. And like, that's something totally doable as a book club thing, like, cause they're not long, but you know, doing a bigger series, I don't think we would ever want to do. But yeah. And then also to the super chats from last week, much appreciated, Purple Gang Gang and Rob. All right, first bit of news. Yesterday, we had the Doc Nocturnal, the Monster That Hunts Monsters version beefed up. You know, they did the statue a couple years ago, and then people were like, I want that as a 112. And they kind of did that here. Loaded up with stuff, $120. So a little more than their usual 112, but it's only $8, right?
It's got a ton of stuff though. And those soft goods look amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty darn sweet. I ordered one like instantly. Comes with another comic book. The first comic book is my favorite Mezco comic. The first Doc Knock book. It's the black and white. The art's beautiful. It's such a nice book. And I'm excited to get the next one. So pretty cool there. Here's D Amazing's. Let me actually pull the banner down now because we got names underneath here. So D Amazing had some comparison shots on his channel, and he has a full video up. It's a really good review. And then a bunch of different creators, a lot of photographers and stuff like Mr. Lee, Jason B. Michael, and some others have shots and stuff. There it is next to a Legion's figure. And there it is next to the original. So you can see it's much more beefed up.
And he did post the unmasked head on his Instagram if anybody's wanted to see that. Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that skull comes off, and that's underneath the skull. And there's Mr. Lee's comparison shot.
That's cool.
Mr. Lee's photos are phenomenal. They're simple, but like he has such clear, crisp, like his shots are amazing. They're so good.
Brick is asking about wait list. I don't know. I don't really get a lot of Mezco.
Yes, they do convert pretty often, but it's not like a guarantee. But there's a decent chance if you jump on it that it could convert. You know, maybe like a coin flip chance. And we'll do the Mezco stuff and then we'll do the drawing because I'm afraid I'm going to forget about it. Yeah. All right. So let's do the drawing. Let me pull up the thing here. Share this tab. So as usual with the giveaways, just like email me right after at podcast@dorklair.com and I will hopefully get this out tomorrow morning. If not, it'll probably be Saturday morning. And just let me know your address. If I don't know, if we don't know each other, just maybe kind of like prove that you are who you say you are by like a screenshot or something like that. But yeah, okay, let's spin this thing. Let me pull it over here. All right, 3, 2, 1. Bone Thugs. Who's it gonna be? Kevin McCoy, a repeat winner, or Tanya won. I forget which one of you won at some point. You've won. Congrats. So yeah, just let me know. I mean, I probably still have your address, but just shoot it to me anyways, because that way I don't have to dig around for it. All right, nice. Kevin McCoy, congrats. Let me go back to this. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. It's got like the nose off. It's like a little bit of fleshy. It's almost like a mummified head or something. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
really cool looking.
We got a lot. There's a lot of turtle stuff that in the news this week, and they're all kind of spread apart. So this is the first one of the Turtles thing. So this is not the Memory Toys one. This is the Heat Boys, and they are known for making the mech turtles. So this is the company that made the mech turtles. And all of this stuff, pretty much every photo I have here is from Universe Chew on Twitter, a really good follow. Like this slideshow is like 80 slides long. So there's like not everything that was at this Wonder Festival is on here. And there's a ton of really cool stuff. I'm not going to cover all of it, but we're going to cruise through a bunch of it. And most of the pictures are from Universe Chew. Okay. So these are the Heat Boys turtles. They shared. So if you look at the background and you can see that like card in the back that has like a color image, that they showed images of that on their Instagram. But then they had these, grayscale prototypes at the show. And so we got a couple of them. Got Raph.
Yeah, Maverick says they look to be about 9 inches, but I sometimes on the prototypes they upsize them a bit, so I don't know if that's really what they're going to end up be. Or
yeah, I don't know the scale of these. I really don't. Like maybe if you look up some of their other stuff. Oh, it says they're 203 millimeters, which is nice. Okay, yeah, so maybe says they're 203 millimeters on their. Usually those are fairly accurate when they say this figure you're about to buy is going to be 203 millimeters. Then, yeah,
those are some big boys then.
And then the company that makes the Atom body. So there's this like blank buck body that is sold called the Atom, and it's Muff Toys. They're doing some figures, like they're doing some. These aren't licensed figures or anything. They're like renamed, reskinned. Like stuff that would be licensed, but you have Casey Jones here on that Atom body from Muff Toys.
Are you sure? It looks like Wayne the Fear Hunter.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. That is Wayne the Fear Hunter. He hunts fear. Fear. I'm going to get you, Fear. And then we have
that's
Jagger,
awesome.
The Guilty Land Jagger. This is definitely not the mutant leader. This is
definitely not the mutant leader from the Dark Knight.
Guilty Land Jagger.
Right. Definitely not. Definitely not asking the officer about his cute wife and kids at home with that smile.
I recognize those nipples anywhere. You're not fooling me.
Words I never thought I'd hear Bill say out loud. The joke aside,
yeah, Purple Gang, we'll be clipping that one.
The sculpt on that is just that face sculpt and that head sculpt, and there's another one with his visor on.
Yeah, I wish I had. You can see it down there, kind of.
I didn't down there.
Yeah, I should have pulled it.
So I'll be trying to figure out how to get these. I want that. There's I've not seen the pictures of it, but I found a discussion group, and I had to do running through some translations, but said that there is a Dark Knight Returns Batman that's going to be with this line. Of course, they'll name him something else. And isn't this the company that made that badass looking Superman that they've been showing pictures of?
I'm not we're just looking at these comments about the nips.
Oh, I know.
But anyway, I don't think I have
in my life. My mind's not in the gutter. I'm ashamed of myself right now.
The funny one is Maverick saying that this is how I'm going to greet people at Legion's Con. That's how I'm going to greet Pan Johnson. That's how I'm going to greet him.
Awesome.
Swappable nipples.
Oh boy.
Customizer's dream.
Yeah.
Always a good time.
I hope the skeleton. Oh, no, that doesn't work. Okay. And then we're into the Queen Studios stuff. People are familiar with their brand InArt, which is their 6-scale, crazy detailed stuff. And this is their 1/12 scale stuff that we briefly had talked about a couple weeks ago. They had shown a couple pics, but this line is called Morphig. And again, these are shots from Universal Chew. So we have Dark Knight. This is the Dark Knight version of it, right?
These are ridiculously good for
they're so stupid.
Yep, they look so damn
Oh my
good.
goodness.
I
It's going
have
to be very
a-
hard to resist any
I
of
have a
these.
Hot Toys of that Batman. I've got the DX12. It was the first Hot Toys I ever got. And that face sculpt is every bit as good as what's on that Hot Toys. It blows my mind.
And
That's
then
wild.
Morphig has an account. It's Morphig Official on Instagram if you want to go follow them. They only have one post so far, but it's a bunch of these pictures. But yeah, so they have some pretty cool glam shots. So I followed up the Universe Chew shots with some of these because I saw later. But yeah, I mean, these just look so good. Catwoman.
Yeah, it's blowing my mind how
That's
good those things
crazy.
look.
And then
Mm.
this is the,
Like the
Arkham game, right?
Yep.
Oh, man.
I mean,
I mean,
that
just
thing
like
looks
the
like it's ready
proportions
to fly off the screen and beat my butt just for looking at him.
What
The
do you think
proportions
the
on these are
pricing's
so
gonna be on
good.
these? What do you think?
What's
Like
it?
100, 120? Is that what you're thinking
I-
on these?
Somebody said, like, since they're pretty much going with mostly plastic, somebody said they're probably going to be in that Mezco range.
Mhm.
And I want to say they might be under 100, like maybe in
Oh,
the
wow.
80, 90. But I
Oh
don't
my
really know.
gosh.
That's just kind of talk and rumor. But we'll see. I mean, some of these look like they're ready to like be solicited. So,
I mean, it does
especially
have
these
soft,
Batman
good
figures.
shape, but yeah.
Right, but it's not like Mezco
Yeah.
where you have a full cloth stuff, you know. But yeah, I was like, well, if Hot Toys are $250 and then in art stuff is like $400 to $500, I was
Mhm.
totally expecting these to be, you know, double a Mezco, like 150 to 200 or something. But this is what Trevor's saying, probably 80 to 90 SHF Mafex pricing, which
Yeah.
would be great. I think would be perfect for this, you know, would be awesome actually.
Yeah.
If it ends up being, you know how, I forget the company that did it. Was it Sentinel? Someone did a Arkham Knight, and it was like a crazy, like 80 points of articulation figure that was probably 7 or 8 inches tall. And it was like $200. It was essentially like a 1/12 kind of size figure, but it was like, I was like, wanted it so bad, but it was so out of the price range. Maverick's saying 230, which that seems wild to me. I mean, I won't
That's a
buy it.
little, that's high for a 1/12 scale, but
Yeah, I won't be paying that.
if this is anywhere below say 150, I don't know how I could not pull the trigger.
Yeah, if it's Mezco pricing or lower, because since Figure Arts isn't really making anything that I buy anymore because they're not making any Marvel stuff and all they're doing with Star Wars is re-releases. I mean, there you go. Oh my gosh, they're making the Dark Knight's metal stuff look so good. Oh my gosh. That Batman Who Laughs is just sick. Man, look at that. Oh boy.
Yeah. So many, like,
yeah.
And some of these are deep cuts too. Like this isn't just
yeah. If you didn't read Dark Knight's Metal, you don't know anything about what those last 3 or 4 were.
Yeah. And they got a Bruce Lee over here.
I hate to say it, but I still think my Figure Arts Bruce Lee's look better than that.
I don't think the likeness is quite on.
Yeah, not quite on. That's like Bruce Lee's stunt double that was usually only shot from the back.
Yeah. And then they're doing, so there's that new game. What is it called? Dark something Wukong, Dark Myth Wukong or something like that. It's like a brand new game that's like a huge deal. And they're doing figures from that game. So we have Sun Wukong, right? I don't know who this is, but I believe it's also from that game.
Oh my gosh. The sculpts on these things are just sick.
Yeah. These are works of art. Then we have the pig guy, the boar, whatever.
That's awesome.
I love this little guy.
That's nightmare fuel right there.
It looks like something from Star Wars.
And then the tiger guy.
That one I love. That one just looks so awesome. It looks like he's wagging his finger at you just before he beats you to death with his stick. See, Bill, this is why I love grayscale stuff. Look at the detail. And you're not going to see all that when they get all the paint on there. I would buy every one of these in grayscale.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, because they do Lord of the Rings.
Oh, wow.
In the 6 scale. So imagine if they did Lord of the Rings in the 1/12.
If they did that, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
His name is Pigsy.
Man.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Pigsy is his name.
Oh, it's not Robert
And then
Paulson.
what's the tiger's name, Mav?
Only in death.
Now, this I don't know if it's
death.
from something. I'm not sure if these next few are from a game or what. I'm not sure. But they also look pretty darn cool. And one of them is like my favorite of all these. So we got that guy.
Man, I had to really look. I thought it was a seamless body there for a second, but I can see the joints now, but they're very well covered.
Yeah. We got this one. So I'm not sure if this is like from a licensed property. I don't think I've seen them produce anything original. So I'm assuming this is from something licensed. Hopefully, what's the name of the tiger? No idea, but I'm going to guess Tigersy. This like I think this is I don't think this is a rider. I think this is like all together like one creature. Because where are his legs, right? Like
yeah. I don't see legs.
Oh wow.
So there's that thing.
That's what is that? What is that traveling display bodies? It was in the first James Bond movie where they have people that have donated their bodies and sometimes didn't donate their bodies and their skin to show their musculature and their internal organs. Body. You guys know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I don't.
Oh gosh, I sound like I'm making it up.
So I got myself mixed up, and I thought that these were also the Morphig figures, but I think these are, according to Brick something, these are Roman key figures. This one here, and then this one, which I think he's saying is called Knuckle Leave, and then this one here are Roman Key is the company.
Look up Body Worlds, and you'll know what I was thinking about when I saw that horse and the rider, or the not rider. And Cthulhu, man, I love that.
This one I'm pretty sure is this one I'm pretty sure is from Queen Studios, from the InArt guys. I think. It was hard to keep track of all this stuff.
I'm gonna hate to see how much that thing costs.
Yes, they are Roman Key. Okay. Roman Key is doing something similar. Okay. They are different from the Roman Key. Okay. So, all right. I don't know. Yeah, this is Morphig. Wait. Yeah, these are Morphig. I didn't actually add Morphig to these posts like that. This is the picture from their actual thing. So yeah, these are actually these are from Queen Studios, InArt's company. Yeah, because that Morphig on the bottom of this one, that was in that photo. I didn't add that. So apparently Roman Key is doing some similar stuff too. It's like, that's the one thing about this show. It's like, it's like a lot of similar looking stuff. And there's a lot of like super busy stuff. And it's like, it kind of like starts to all just like blend together a little bit. Like that's the one thing where it's like with Legions, like I know it's Legions and it's like it has a very specific look to me, whereas all this other stuff, it's like it all kind of blends together and I can't keep track of who's who and who's making the tiger and who's making the polar bear, and like the polar bear kind of looks like the tiger, and then there's like
the other guys. They have very similar styles.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the Morphig, which is the new line. I mean, actually, so I don't have the other shot. I don't have this guy, Universe Chew. I apparently don't have his shot of the Cthulhu. But you could see those little signs in some of these shots. Like this sign is like super tiny next to the Cthulhu. So I think this Cthulhu is going to be a solid like 12 plus, maybe even like 15 inches tall.
Oh my goodness.
Right,
I looked up that thing. I looked up that thing that Brick put in the chat. Apparently that horse man creature thing is, you're right, it is one thing, and it's some British folklore. So
okay.
It's like something out of Hellraiser.
It's nightmare fuel, that's for sure.
I want to get that big ass Cthulhu and put it next to Unicron and let him fight it out to see who's going to end reality.
We have these chunky dwarves from Fury Toys, which look awesome. These look really cool.
Those are big boys.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not sure if these are from something. Curtis, these aren't from World of Warcraft, are they?
No.
Look at the
I don't know what they are or aren't from, but dude, I would love to have every one of them. They're amazing.
Yeah, Kings Under the Mountain are going to want to see these.
This would have been such a cool show to go to and just be surprised by all this stuff. You know?
When that stuff started popping up on my feed, I was just blown away. I was like, "What? Where is this coming from?"
Yeah, I mean, Cthulhu is like, you're never gonna get a toy that's like a in scale Cthulhu. Like that's just not a thing.
No,
you just hope it's gonna be 12 plus 15.
12 to 18.
You just hope it's gonna be big. You know, then this thing, Crab Guy from Nada Studio, and then what? Grasshopper guy? What is the guy on the left? What is he? Grasshopper?
I don't know. It looks like some other kind of crustacean, maybe with that.
Looks like something from
Oh, maybe he's a prawn. I bet he's a prawn.
Oh, prawn guy?
Yeah.
Prawn guy and crab guy.
Dude, those things are creepy as hell.
Shrimp man. And then some fish guys.
It's a trap.
Oh my God.
And they're going to get your wallet.
So many wild sculptures going on.
I want to know what kind of drugs these people are taking to come up with this stuff.
Wow. Oh, these are also Journey to the West. Okay. So also like, you know, the Monkey King stuff. I feel like that one of these fishmen could fight the boar guy. Like they're probably like the same size. And then Memory Toys, which will end up taking us to those turtles. They posted this right before the event, and they had these on display at the event, but these are those goblins, which I kind of like when they were grayscale and they were posted a few months back. I didn't really like, I don't know. I didn't pay a lot of attention, but seeing these painted up, I'm definitely going to have to.
These look like the Plunderlings that weren't cute enough to make the Plunderlings cut. Now they have to go be their own thing.
These are the live action. The Plunderlings are the cartoon. These are the live action.
Yeah. These are the ones that live under the bridge.
Couple more shots.
Man, those are so cool.
Yeah, those are great.
These must be going up soon because they were teased months ago. They have these, you know, glamour shots, and these must be going up for pre-order very, very soon.
I've said it before, man. I'm going to say it again. We live in the absolute most incredible time to be collectors. There's more stuff out there than we could ever possibly hope to keep up with.
Yeah.
And we don't have to ask our parents for the money to get it.
No, we just have to ask for the bank and see how many mortgages we currently have on the house.
Right.
It's got to sell some stuff to afford it. So here we have, the butterfly saying not crazy about the butterfly joints. Yeah. I mean, just a different style of figure. So now we have another set of turtles. These have like kind of like a futuristic kind of thing going on. But yeah, these look pretty cool. And these are 1/12 scale. I don't know the exact height. 1/12 is a tough thing to say a turtle is because like a 1/12 turtle is kind of like Mezco. They should be like 5 inches, I would imagine. But these are big, you know, these are like big muscular turtles. So like it's hard to say how tall they're going to be necessarily.
That skateboard looks amazing.
Yeah.
I just want that skateboard.
And, you know, so these also look like something that would be ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure the pre-orders will be going up soon for these. And these look licensed. Like these aren't like the other ones. It seems like just the floodgates opened up and everybody's got turtles now.
Yeah, I was on their Instagram and somebody asked that question if they were licensed, and they said absolutely. So
yeah.
But I mean, nowadays, like everybody has a license for the turtles. So
right. But these could be like the Joy Toy stuff where they're technically only sold in Asia. Right. Like there's, Big Bad got some of the turtles and like there's some people, but it's not like every retailer has those in the US. So could be a similar thing licensing wise. We'll see what happens. Kind of wish Raph had scars like the Heat Boys. Well, you can get the Heat Boys ones. You got options. There's no lack of options for turtles.
Get whatever turtle you want. Everybody's making them.
Licensed under Viacom Overseas Holdings. Trevor just got the TMNT license. Well, Trevor,
nice.
Congratulations, but it's not really a big deal anymore. So, Ninja Roids, Jacked Turtles.
Yeah, I love that.
So these are LJH, that top right corner logo there. I'm assuming this is their, like they do the Pacific Rim. Yeah, this is what I was talking about in a chat the other day. And yeah, Matty Toys is for like the unlicensed stuff. It's funny because that's what they have to do. They have to keep the companies kind of separate, right? So that if you want your turtles to work with Hasbro figures, I would say maybe the Mezco, but I would almost think that the the Joy Toy ones are, because those are like 4+ inches tall, and Hasbro figures are like usually a straight 6. At least the G.I. Joe stuff. Trevor's going to make 188 turtles to go inside your little Star Wars ships. Okay. Little update on last week. So also at the Wonderfest, Hot Toys had some stuff. And last week we were speculating that they would do, they put up, and I pre-ordered the battle damaged T800. And lo and behold, they've got the non-battle damaged, the regular version at a show. So they're probably doing that soon, I would imagine. The T1000 as well. Jar Jar Binks Hot Toys. And can you see who's over his shoulder there?
It's like Maul brother.
That's right. Savaggio Press.
That's one of my favorite designs. I loved him in Clone Wars.
And then this actually is up for pre-order now. This is the Hot Toys Dr. Doom in their comic Hot Toy. I don't know how many comic ones they've done now. Maybe like a handful. But Dr. Doom, 280. Looks solid.
Looks really good.
And then they've got the Amazing Spider-Man, which I'm assuming is a remake of one they've done before, I would imagine. And they have the deluxe version and the regular 290 and 340. And then they're coming back to Alien versus Predator stuff. And the first Predator they're doing is the Samurai Predator, which they've done before. I'm a little surprised that they wouldn't do like a more regular looking Predator first to come back to it. But 430. Cool, yeah. And then moving away from the big stuff and into the little stuff, we talked about the Toy Pizza Knights of the Slice figures last week, and they put up another new one. And this, I think, is going to be the last kind of new, besides like maybe some solid color ones, for a little while. But this is the yellow Drake Cray, and it's kind of a deluxe because it's got like the vest and the long vest. It's got the regular vest and the long vest, and it's got the other swap out belts, and then that alternate helmeted head. and that's currently up. It's one of 3 of the figures that are currently up right now on Knights of the Slice. I ordered it, but it hasn't arrived yet. It's in the mail right now.
Double vest for when your arms are really warm, but your trunk is cold. So,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, hang on a second. These are all the different looks you can do with it. A lot of different options there.
Without
I
swapping
love
with
these
other stuff.
Yeah, these are just what it comes with. I love this line. Like I was a little like I wasn't like super into it like when he first put it up, and I did I backed the Kickstarter. I only backed for 2, and then once I got them in hand, I had to try to get as many as I could. So yeah, I'm loving this. I want to try to do a review. I actually have a bunch of them over there but it's just like I got to find the time. But they are fantastic. They're pricey, but they're, very limited, small batch type stuff. Oh, yeah, okay. Yep. And then continuing with the smaller figures, we got wave 3 already of the Joy Toy stuff, and wave 1 is shipping. Mine's already in the mail. My wave 1 Joy Toy turtles, so those are on the way right now. And then wave 3 is Shredder and a couple foot soldiers.
Wow.
But I mean, it looks great.
That's Shredder. I don't care what version it is of Shredder. That's just an all-time great design.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there are some that got a little, out of control, like Super Shredders and stuff like that. But for the most part, anytime they do a Shredder, it's just, man, they really hit something special when they came up with that character.
Let me just come back real quick to some Glios questions. The blue translucent one, yeah, that was navel deep. And I forget, I think I had access to that because I'm part of the Patreon. A lot of the stuff with like not a lot of it, but like a good amount of the stuff from Toy Pizza Knights of the Slice stuff is like accessible early or even exclusively if you're part of the Patreon. And then like if it doesn't sell out or something, then they'll release it to everybody. So yeah, I forget exactly what the situation was with Naval Deep. I think it was because I was on the Patreon, but it looks like O'Neill, who is part of that specific one, Naval Deep. Actually, let me pull up the image. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull up the shot I took of all of them together here. Whoops. Okay, so let me put this up. So the 1 second from the left, that's the one we're talking about. That's Naval Deep. That was a collaboration, Sea of Daggers collaboration between O'Neill and Jesse. So between O'Neill and Toy Pizza. And so they're apparently doing a new version of that's going to come out next week. The 10th, I believe, is the O'Neill drop. So there you go. All right. And so more pictures of this stuff. My favorite shredder is the cheese shredder. I also like cheese. I'm a fan. So there it is with the 2 foot soldiers. Here's what Shredder comes with. Little plunger action with one of them.
I do like the bases, how they go together.
Yeah. Manhole like street piece. Yeah. So kind of look at the differences here between the two. Actually, wait, I mean, just look at this one. The 2 soldiers. Well, arms are a little bit different. Heads are different.
Yeah, I don't collect that scale, but these things do look great.
Yeah,
they do, and I like the way they did the foot soldiers. I feel like they should look like they're kind of pieced together, and whenever comes back from battle, you get leftovers and put them together, so they're all just a little different.
And for the people who are like, I don't really collect that scale, you go back to those Memory Toys ones, right? Like they kind of have a very similar look to these, and I wonder if that's a thing, like if that's kind of a style sheet or whatever that the licensor gave to them to they're all kind of basing their stuff off of that, maybe. And then finally, slightly smaller in the 3 3/4 scale, we have what we kind of only had a teaser of last time, and that is the Mezco 5 points 89 Batman stuff. And so you have 3 figures in a Batmobile. Direct from Mezco, you can buy the whole set for $110. But if you go to like retailers, you can buy them separately. You can either buy the 3 figures for $60 and the Batmobile for $50.
Yeah, I jumped all over this.
Yeah, me too.
If I was going to open them, I would have probably bought 2 Bobs for the different look. But I think I'm going to leave them all in package anyway. So,
yeah.
Believe it or not, I still have my original 3 Toy Biz.
Nice.
Of those, not packaged, obviously, but from. I was always disappointed because in the advertisements it showed Batman with the old Kenner head, and then you got the actual figure, and it was this bulbous, awful-looking thing.
Right? I was disappointed too.
Okay, I'm glad someone other than me, remembers the horror.
Yeah, it's got the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
But then they came out with the Batman Returns figures, and they looked amazing. So
yeah, they did. I remember getting a couple of those in more the traditional colors, because they did like every version that there was of Batman, and it was it was the old Kenner mold is what it was.
Yeah, and then they just did it in all the different colors. I've got almost the entire line mint in box.
Is that the original, Bill?
This is the Mezco 66.
Okay.
So from the same toy line. Let me do this.
Now, was that something similar where they sold it all together as one set?
This was a crazy set. It came with like 8 figures or something like that.
Oh,
and
wow.
then it also came with like a big old cardboard diorama Batcave type thing. But I mean, it's great. This thing is awesome. The back wheels, when you drive it, so there's a flame piece that you can stick back here, and when you drive it, when you move it, it spins that.
That's awesome.
So it's got a play feature. It's so nice. The figures, and these are fully 3 3/4. Like these are tiny. These are like original Kenner size, if you will. But they have the little rubber capes that allow them to sit.
It's like the old the Mego Pocket Heroes.
Yeah,
had those rubber capes.
These are awesome. I love this set. It's so cool.
Is that still available, or was that just a limited release?
I mean, maybe not on Mezco, but you could totally probably find it on like a retailer or like Big Bad or something.
Look for that.
This
cool.
is sweet. I love this Batman. It's got the rubber tires, like they're actually like separate tires and stuff. It's super nice. So I'm hoping that because this is so awesome, I'm kind of hoping that the Batmobile, the 89 Batmobile, comes out really good too. But that's everything.
Pretty big week. Lots
of
of really cool stuff.
Let me go back to this look. Yeah, pretty awesome. That Wonderfest, man, kind of mind blowing. Some of the stuff they had there.
It's crazy.
Oh, I wanted to ask or say, because this was since I wasn't on here a couple weeks ago. If you've not seen Transformers 1, please go see that movie. It is freaking awesome, and it's not doing as well at the box office as it should be. Like, if all the people that have been begging for good Transformers movies actually went to see this movie, it would be killing it. And if this thing doesn't do well, I mean, I feel like they're probably, as long as it breaks even, they're going to go through the motions and give us the trilogy. But this thing needs to do well, guys, because we suffered through 2007 to 7 Michael Bay movies. We had one good Bumblebee movie, then we got another, whatever Rise of the Beast was. This is a perfect Transformers movie.
I'm dying to see it. I'm trying to talk my daughter into it, and she's like, she kind of wants to see it, but she also wants to see the Wild Robot or whatever. And it's like, we go to like 2 movies a year.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And I'm like,
I'd go to 2 movies a day. You got to see this movie.
I know. I'm dying to see it. I want to see
And
it
you
so
know
bad.
how critical. Like, I am not someone who gushes. I do not gush.
Yeah.
Exactly. When I saw the first preview, I was like, Then I started seeing more trailers and hearing about it. I went into the thing cautiously optimistic. Dude, by the time we were 5 minutes into the movie, I looked like somebody had used Joker gas on me, and my face stayed like that until the there. I was punctuated by a few,
Smilex.
love that Joker, but I'm telling you, the movie is so good, and they don't do that. Like Marvel does that stupid thing where they have a serious moment and then somebody ruins it with a bad joke. When there are serious moments, they let you sit with it. And there are real stakes, and there are things that happens in this movie, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this just enhances. And I don't care which continuity you like, whether you like the cartoon continuity or one of the Marvel comics or the IDW, this origin works for everything. And it gives you insight into these characters that you've not gotten. The closest thing I can bring to this as far as character development, of course, they have to do it on a smaller scale, smaller cast, is if you read the entire first IDW run, that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, however long it was, the character development they did, how Megatron and Prime started, dude, when Megatron finally turns, I literally felt like somebody stabbed me in the heart with a dagger. I was like, no, like if you can get me that invested in a freaking movie. And my wife kept leaning over to me. She's like, I cannot believe how beautiful this thing is. I can't believe that they did this in a computer. So please, guys, if you've even thought you might enjoy, don't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. Don't wait for it to come out on streaming. Please go see it in the theaters and support this thing, because if we don't support the good stuff, we get all the bad garbage that Marvel has given us for the last 4 or 5 years, and we complain, well, we'd spend money on it if it was good. A studio is giving us something good. Yeah. Reward them. Go spend.
It's a
your
bummer
$15
that
or
if it's not
$20.
doing well, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be doing so much better than it is.
Mountain Arts Mars. We talked about the Queen toy, the Queen Studios, Black Myth, Sun Wukong stuff. So go back to the earlier part of the video and watch that. It's all we went through a lot of that stuff. So yeah,
we cool gushed. Stuff. We all gushed.
Yeah, we gushed.
Yes. Yep. Big time.
I would say anybody that's planning on going and wasting their money on that Joker sequel, just take that money and go see the Transformers instead. So,
and you can go back and watch the old Key and Peele substitute teacher before you go in, and watch the Paramount Mountaintop substitute teacher advertisement, because there's an Easter egg in there that just is going to put a smile on your face like you can't believe.
Nice. All right. Good show tonight.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Larry, just a reminder, join the Wolf Den and always,
oh yeah, I need to write
get into
down.
The community for the customizing stuff for sure.
And
Wolf Den, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Legion's Con. Chris is going.
We got the Purple Gang down there in North Carolina. We might have to have them just grab Larry and bring him up with him. Throw him in the car. Yeah. Do one of those bachelor parties where you kidnap.
I was going to say, did they do that in Old School or what?
Yeah.
It was where they kidnapped the guy.
Oh, I love that scene. They're ripping in the van to Metallica.
I would caution you against that. My wife is a crack shot. That's all I'm going to say. She's like Annie Oakley.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and then we're gonna be like turning the corner on Legion's Con at that point.
Right there.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll have some in progress stuff to share for the customizing at that point.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get started on this pretty soon and start seeing if I can make some headway on it.
We're still pretty much
running any issues. Just reach out. I mean, I
will. I already got the message from you and from Tanya, so thank y'all so much. And I'm sure
if we don't have the answer, we can definitely forward you to somebody that does. So.
Awesome, I appreciate it.
And we'll be doing Legion's Lounge weekly. I don't know if it's going to stay weekly the whole time, but we've been weekly, and we're going to be going this coming Monday too. So be tuning into the Legion's Lounge, everybody. And Curtis, who you got coming up this weekend on your shows?
So we got a swig spectacular. So anybody in the Mythic Legions community knows we're trying to do this whole 1,000 swigs at Legions Con, where people are either bringing, one fresh out of the box or one that's pop and swapped or one that they've customized. So we've got 3 of the folks in the community that are really driving this, which is Joe Gonzalez, Terrence St. John, and Kirby Smith. So they will all be on Shooting the Shelf on Sunday, and we'll be talking about swigs. So, which, by the way, they are still available on Store Horsemen. If you need to get your swig, they're still out there. So
still some really good stuff on there, especially like if you're going to be grabbing on the 14th, if you're going to be grabbing the heavy gunner, throw a couple builders in there, throw some swigs in there. It's a good chance to get some stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thanks as always. And until next time, may the force be with you.
Follow me into